Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us, especially on a Friday afternoon. My name is Yvonne Torres. I'm the Director of Purchasing, and I'm going to give you a very brief overview of how to do business with the SAWS Purchasing Department. So to learn a little bit more about the SAWS Purchasing Department, you can go to the SAWS.org website, to our business center, and go to our procurement bids. I have a staff of 4 buying professionals, 1 business data analyst, and 1 contract technician, and all are available to assist as needed. We have recently, as of August last year, gone to a new electronic bidding platform. So I encourage you to register as a vendor and then begin submitting bids. The platform we use is called Ionwave, and I'm going to go over give you an introduction to that as well. When you're registering, also make sure that you include your SMWB status to include your certification, whether you're certified through South Central Texas Regional Certification Agency or a hub vendor, which are the 2 certifications that we would recognize. So purchasing buys goods and non-professional services. Here's a screenshot of just some of the things we buy. So we would purchase anything that we use in our facilities to run a business, or anything we need to fix or repair something in our facility. So it could be water and wastewater related, or it could be general office supplies, janitorial supplies, services, lawn maintenance, you name it. If it's used in a business, we probably buy it. So I want to give you an overview. If it is a service related contract, we do require insurance. Typical insurance is workman's comp, employer's liability, commercial general liability, and commercial business auto liability. Depending on what we are purchasing, we may require other types of insurance. For example, if you're a crane company, we may want a rigger's insurance. If you're transporting chemicals or hazardous waste, we may want pollution. So you do want to look at those insurance requirements for each bid, because they may vary based on what it is we're buying. So today I'm going to talk about 2 thresholds, and these are based on our statute and how we must do our business. So an informal award is considered anything between the dollar thresholds of $3,000 and $50,000. Currently, we are posting these on our electronic bidding system. In the past, we didn't do this, but we are now posting everything from $3,000 up. Per our local government code 252, we must attempt to obtain quotes from at least 2 historically underutilized businesses. And that would also mean businesses registered with South Central Texas Regional Certification Agency. You also must be registered as a vendor to respond, to use Ionwave. And then bids must be submitted by the due date and the time. Formal awards, these are anything greater than $50,000. Or our annual contracts, which we post as formal awards as well. These, per statute, must be posted or advertised twice in a newspaper over a 2-week period. So we do use the heartbeat. These are also posted on Ionwave. Again, you have to be registered to respond, and then bids must be submitted by the due date and time. Now, the difference in the award of these is that a formal award over $100,000 must be approved by our board of trustees. So what that means to you is that typically adds about 4 to 5 weeks once bids are in for an award to be made. So I'm going to give you a very high level overview of Ionwave. As I mentioned, we're doing both informal and formal bids. You have to register. A plus for us is that questions are submitted in the application. And then we also have a due date and time for that. All required documentation must be submitted through the platform, and bid responses are due by the specified date and time. The system actually will not allow you to submit after that date and time. So you do want to make sure you pay attention to those dates and respond so that we can either get your questions or your bids on time. So why did we go to an electronic bidding platform? Well, we were well on our way. We had already received bids for this before COVID hit, but it has been a true blessing for us to have it during COVID. So for you can submit your questions and response to bids from anywhere. You don't have to make sure you get it in the mail, 3 or 4 days ahead of time to make sure it gets to us. It gives you a little more flexibility and a little more time to respond. You could submit your pricing electronically. Again, it avoids, it eliminates the mail, UPS, whatever, how we used to deliver them before. The system includes an error check button to see your extended amounts before submitting. One area we used to have issues with is some people work backwards. So they would put their extended price in and then work backwards, but they would forget to come back and put their unit price, and then their bid would be thrown out because there was new unit price, or maybe their unit price was the extended price. So that is really a plus for you, that you can check your extended amounts before you actually hit the submit button. The system also won't allow you to submit unless you provide all requested information. So you do want to make sure you allow enough time so that you hit that submission button. If you have any errors, it gives you time to go back and actually respond to those errors. Bid tabulations are calculated automatically upon unsealing. This is a great plus for us. I don't know if any of you have responded to our bids. We have some bids that are hundreds of lines long. And so our contract technician used to have to manually type those in. Well, the system now will calculate that for us, and then we review and we format it before we post it. So that's a great advantage for us on our end. So on the electronic bidding platform, they're all mixed in, and we'll talk about this here in a minute, but there's different types of bids. So this is how you'll know to recognize what type of bid have we posted. So informal bids will either be an informal invitation to bid with the acronym that's here, or a request for quote. And those are typically determined by an invitation for informal bid is typically used when it's maybe something a little more in depth, maybe a service requirement. So you will have our terms and conditions in there. A request for quote is typically, we want to buy 3 valves. So it's pretty straightforward. We're buying a commodity, you give us a price, you deliver, we're done. Formal bids are of 3 different types. So typically they could be a formal invitation for bid, which is meets minimum requirements. Award is made to low bid, either per item, per group, or overall low bid. So the bid will actually tell you the basis for award. We also do best value bid or request for proposals. So those are both evaluated procurements. In a best value bid, we can define the scope pretty closely. We know what we want. However, we want to consider more than just price. So we may ask for your experience, or we may ask for your qualifications or your personnel. And a request for proposal is something where we know what the end product is. We don't necessarily know how to get there. So we're looking for proposals on how to meet our requirements. In both cases, they're evaluated procurement. So where price is only a piece of the evaluation. So you may not be the lowest price, but you get the overall highest technical score, then you could be awarded a bid. And these are the 2 procurements that also consider SMWB participation. So typically both of these will be 10 to 15 points, depending on what it is we're soliciting for. And then the other type of bids we could post are future bids. So how do you get started? Well, if you go to our SAWS.org Business Center and procurement bids, it'll give you a link to actually watch a video on how to register as a vendor. You can also access that same link by going to Ionwave, and that website is sawsbid.ionwave.net. So you'll need to go here to register as a vendor, but if you want a little more assistance, you can watch a video. I believe it's about 7 minutes long. You want to introduce your company to purchasing. So we are currently working from home the majority of the time, but we still can visit with you via WebEx, via phone. So, again, introduce yourself so we know who you are. Bookmark our website, the same website I just gave you. When you register as a vendor, it's going to ask for commodities. And it works really great if you pick the same commodity I pick. Then you get notification that there is a bid available if you choose to participate. However, if we don't pick the same commodities, then you won't get that notification. So making sure you don't miss a bid you may be interested in, bookmark our website and check it periodically, once or twice a week. Then that way you're sure not to miss any bids that you potentially want to participate in. Each of our bids also has a plan holders list. So what is this? So this, once the bid's been out a couple days, you can actually go to that tab and it will actually show you who has downloaded the bid. So you may offer either a commodity or a service and you're not interested in bidding the whole thing, but maybe you want to partner with someone or you want to subcontract with someone. So the plan holder list can assist you in identifying who might be the other businesses that are participating. So then you could reach out to them and potentially subcontract with them. So checklists for success, and this is just basic, everybody understands this. So on Ionwave, every piece is broken down. Your terms and conditions, your general requirements and scope, your security requirements. So it's all in one section and you'll have to acknowledge that you've read these. So some people will just skip all that. They'll hit check, check, check. They acknowledge everything and they go to the price schedule and fill in prices. You do want to make sure you read it because whatever you're checking the box on, you're acknowledging those requirements. You want to submit your questions on time. Some bids will have approved equals. You want to make sure if we request an approved equal, an example might be safety related items typically are identified by brand and part number, but we'll consider other products. But we'll give you a date and time in which you have to submit those approved equals. And then we'll tell you during the bid if they meet the requirements. Those will be called out in the bid. Again, that's something to look for. You want to price your bid as FOB destination, meaning we take ownership when it hits our dock and you've included shipping costs in your unit price. You want to explore insurance. You don't have to get insurance until you're awarded a bid, but you want to know what that cost of that insurance is if you need to include that in your unit price. Because once we've awarded you the bid, we won't be able to change that. Use the functionality in Ionwave. Again, it's available for you and as well as it is for me to verify your unit price and extended prices to make sure they are correct before you hit that submission button. And again, allow a little extra time. Our bids are always due at 3 p.m. Don't wait till 2:50 to start submitting your bid. Do it in plenty of time to be able to submit and then to be able to go back and make any necessary changes if they are required. Some of our bids have mandatory pre-bids. You do want to make sure that if we have a mandatory pre-bid that someone from your company attends. Sometimes companies team together and the other company goes to the pre-bid, but then the other company submits the bid. We wouldn't be able to accept that because the person submitting the bid must have attended the pre-bid. Now, especially during COVID, we are not doing a lot of pre-bids, but there are some procurements that absolutely require a site visit. So if we do have one, you do need someone to attend. We're very cognizant of the COVID requirements and we will follow and maintain all of the safety to make sure that everyone remains safe. Submit all the required documents. The nice thing about Ionwave, if we ask for you to submit something, we actually give you a place to upload a document. If you don't upload something, it's going to tell you that you didn't complete something. And the system will actually tell you, it doesn't just say something is not complete, it will actually point you to what is deficient. So it helps you go back and fill in those missing spots. I've saved this part for the very last. So we highly encourage you to use Ionwave. However, if for some reason you're not able to and you still want to do it the old-fashioned way, you still may take a sealed bid in a sealed envelope to our headquarters, and that information will be in every bid document, and provide the bid in hard copy format. And also we do ask that you provide a flash drive with that bid response. say this like 10 times because I can't emphasize it enough, the due date and the time. You know, you've put a lot of effort in. I hated, you know, maybe something happening, you know, life happens, you know, we think we're going to finish by a certain date and time and we don't, we get held up. Well, once it's passed, I can't accept the bid. So just plan. We typically put formal bids out for a minimum of 15 days. Informals are typically around a week unless we have some more expedited need for something. We're not currently doing bid openings in person. However, we are doing them virtually and we do welcome you to join them. That is all contained in our bid. And then lastly, we do include a no bid sheet. It's optional. If you elect not to bid, once you look at our bid, if you can complete that form and return that to us, and you would just download it and email it to the purchasing contact of the bid and complete the form and explain why. That helps us for the future to understand if there's something we could have done different to maybe maximize that competition. So with that, I would like to open it up for questions. I have also added 2 documents that you can download. One is a commodity listing of my staff and the commodities they handle. I do have one position that is vacant, so I've put my contact information there. We are in the process of hiring someone. And then I've also given you a screenshots of Ionwave so you can kind of see what it looks like, and giving you a sample bid that's posted there currently, and it'll kind of give you a visual of what to expect if you've never used Ionwave. So with that, I'd like to open it up and be available for questions.
Okay, Yvonne, we don't have any questions at this time, and we are actually starting another session.
Okay.
Meet the buyer. So we will create a discussion topic on the Whova app, where if you do have questions, you can place them there for Miss Yvonne. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this panel. Yvonne, thank you so much for making the time to come and present at our construction conference, and for everything that you're doing for the San Antonio community.
Absolutely. You guys have a great weekend.
Thank you, Yvonne. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.